all the trolls came out, I got 700,000 impressions, so much engagement. That almost boosted me over the top right there. So it took me about 2 weeks, wow. 2 weeks of like nonsense posting to get there.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Welcome back, everybody, to another module. That's going in there. Welcome back to another module. And actually, the first guest appearance I've had for a new series on social media. I've touched on social media. I've dabbled in some other courses, but this is going to be exclusively just content heavy, as practical as possible. And so I've got a friend here today, Anthony. Say hi. Give the people a little wave.
Hey, everybody. Looking forward to the conversation.
So in the true fashion of this being a social media conversation, Anthony, you and I met on, we met on X, yeah. And then I think now we're connected on LinkedIn and everything else. But yeah, just a, testament of you can network and meet really cool people on all platforms. And if you think there's only weirdos and creepy NFT people on X, that's not true.
They are there.
I don't think that they are definitely there. But not everyone is posting nudes and crypto stats.
Nude selfies till I die.
There's some other good stuff on X as well. So that being said, Anthony, let me give you a little intro here. Anthony Gaenzle.
Yep.
Not Gaenzle.
That's correct.
All right. Make sure I'm saying it right. So you, my friend, are the founder and chief strategy officer at E&I Creative with over 20 years in marketing leadership. You've helped brands generate millions in revenue through content strategy and positioning, working with everyone from startups to private equity-backed companies. Also, I will say he has a larger following on X and LinkedIn than me, and it pisses me off. So not for long. No, I'm kidding.
I'll stop amassing followers for a little bit.
Yeah, thanks, I guess. You're also a two-time published author and personal branding consultant, helping people turn attention into real business growth. Today, we're going to dive into how to build and monetize your brand on X specifically, aka previously known as Twitter, from growth and creator program approval to actually making money through services, products, and smart positioning. And fun fact, you were apparently an intern for Nickelodeon and got slimed twice on TV. For anyone who's, 35 and under, I really hope you, I guess maybe 40 and under at this point. I hope you know what I'm talking about when I say he got slimed on Nickelodeon. So first of all, Explain yourself, Anthony.
Yeah, so there was a show called Slime Time Live. It had a lot of the vibes of Double Dare, but it was more of it was a cut in between commercial breaks during Rugrats and other shows like that. People listening probably don't even know what that show is anymore. But during the breaks, I was on the set, and they turned and they shot me with a cannon. Slime cannon one time. Another time they brought all the interns out at the end for the last episode, and they dumped slime on our heads. It's a really amazing experience. I met Macho Man Randy Savage, and I shook his hand, and it basically just my hand disappeared. So really neat experience. And I grew up with Nickelodeon, so it kind of was living the dream a little bit. It was an unpaid dream. It was an unpaid internship, but it was still living the dream.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you ever go in the tunnel, like not the tunnel, sorry, that tube? You know that guy that had the crazy hair that would slam the button and slime people?
Yeah.
Did you ever go in that one?
No, I did there was one called I think it was the Big Shabuzi, something like that, where you had to do, I forget exactly what you had to do, but there were two people competing in different seats. I wasn't on the air on this one, but we got to test it out, and if you lost, you got dumped on in the bucket. So I got to do a lot of fun stuff. And trade secret, I'm assuming I'm allowed to say this, but the slime is actually pudding and applesauce mixed together. You can eat that slime if you want to. So.
You heard it here first, folks. Exclusive.
Okay,
that's it. That's all I needed from today. I don't need anything else.
Now, hopefully, I don't get a letter from Nickelodeon. But
are they even doing that anymore? Is that even a thing, or is that like 2000s?
I don't know. I know that during one of the maybe the Super Bowl, I don't know, they had some sort of world record baking slime thing. It was across multiple states, and they dumped a slime on a certain number of people to break the record, and that was maybe 2 years ago. So at least 2 years ago, the slime still existed. But
All right, you heard it here first. And now we both know, or now the audience knows that you and I don't watch kids shows in our adult years.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep, yep. Well, I do have multiple children, and so they're on in the background, but I don't sit there and watch them. Got a lot
yeah,
of
a
other things
fair
going on.
excuse.
Yeah,
A fair excuse.
yeah.
But yeah, man. So like I said, we met on X, and I was just networking, doing my thing, and I'll be honest, I've been off X for a while. Just got back on at the time of recording this. I just got back on maybe a month ago, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I do like this platform. I just noticed that a year and a half, 2 years ago, I decided to take it really seriously. And that's when the creator fund started. Elon took over, and I was like, yeah, freedom, speech,
Yeah.
whatever. And I think it was handled. I don't know if it was handled poorly or if people just took advantage of loopholes or whatever it was, but it just seemed to be the most sloppy, repurposed,
Yeah.
share this if you're cool. And that was the whole post. And people would, and then you would
Uh,
see your whole feed would be different creators with the exact same post. And so I just got annoyed. I got kind of burnt out from doing hundreds of responses a day and being a reply guy and all this kind of terminology, right? So at this point right now, you've been doing this for a bit, you stuck with it. Now you're making some money
Yeah.
actually just posting on X, which is like the dream of everybody who gets on the platform. And I would say the dream of anyone who starts content, just to
Yeah.
make money from content,
Yeah.
whether it's $5 or 5 million bucks. So maybe just if you want to just maybe start off by a little bit of your thoughts and maybe even some of your journey a bit too, as to why did you decide to start doing this and become a monetizable creator, and where are you taking it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the channel since 2012 when it was Twitter, and you're 100% right. When the creator program kicked off, it was just a mess. I mean, it was a lot of, you would scroll down your feed and you'd see, do you like coffee or tea? And it would be 55 different times, and every single post had 1,000 comments and a million impressions, and it was like, I don't know if it was the algorithm or if they were just trying to push engagement, whatever the case was, but I honestly got frustrated too, and I was strongly considering leaving. Began kind of ramping up my presence more on LinkedIn at the time. But I'd been there for so long, I'd been invested for so long. I thought, let me feel this out, see where it's going. I knew that the X team was working on some fixes, and over time, the algorithm changed. They got rid of a lot of the creators that were treating the system. They got kicked out. They got booted out of this, and then once they were booted out, they didn't want to be there. So it showed they were just there for the cheap engagement and cheap money. And it really became a great place. I've go it's kind of two worlds. So getting approved for the program versus once you're in it, it's completely
Mhm.
different. When you're looking to get approved for the program, you have to hit those 5 billion impressions. You have to get to the point where you have 500. I think it's still that way. At least when I did it, it was 500 um, verified followers, and then to get
Mhm.
the subscriptions, it was 2,000. And that part, I was already there, thankfully, didn't have to worry about that. But getting up to the 5 million, I was testing different things. I was replying to posts. I remember replied to this post about, it had a guy holding a bear, and I replied to, it was a dead bear. I replied to it saying something along the lines of, I don't think that that bear willingly posed for this picture or something like that. And yeah, there were 50% of the people thought it was funny. 50% of the people were like, they were, they thought I was bashing hunters or something like that. So all the trolls came out. I got 700,000 impressions, so much engagement. That almost boosted me over the top right there. So it took me about two
Oh, wow.
weeks, 2 weeks of like nonsense posting to get there. And that was my goal. It killed me a little inside, because it wasn't very targeted, but I just wanted to get over that hump quickly and get approved. So
Right, right.
once you get approved, though, you can't do that anymore because you're not reaching your audience. I mean, and there's 700,000 people saw that. None of them were in my in my target audience. I'm not, I'm not selling to any of those people. So then at that point, you have to really say, who am I? What's my voice? Who do I help? Who do I want to attract here? And those are the people you have to post for, essentially. So, if
Hmm.
you look back to, 2 years ago when the creator program started, before that it was all marketing and things like that for me. Got a little weird when I was getting approved for the creator program. And then I went back to talking about personal branding and marketing and boosting yourself on social media. I developed lists of people that I wanted to target so I could go to those lists and see just them. And then over time, that's where the magic happens. Over time, as you're replying to the right people and the right people are seeing your posts and they're engaging with your content, it's stressful at first because your stats, as soon as you get approved and you start taking that direction, they drop significantly. You'll look at my stats and
Mhm.
they're up here, and then the chart drips down here. But then if you look at it across the next few years, it's just consistently rising. So, you have to be prepared for that quiet time as you're growing and just kind of be ready to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. And if you just don't worry about impressions, focus more on the conversations, get out there and reply, but don't do the whole reply guy thing where you're just, I agree, great post, da 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 da. You're not doing it just to get 1,000 replies a day. You need to do it to get conversations going, to add value to other people. Your comments and replies should be almost like posts that could stand on their own. When you do that
Mm.
approach, that's how you really start to grow there. And that's when I started to enjoy it again.
Yeah, well, that's such a good point. And it's funny actually you say that because I even think for me, like when I really get into X, I actually want to post a lot, but I know that I shouldn't be spamming my profile, especially not yet. So I limit myself to, I think, 3 to 6 kind of X posts per day. I'll do maybe one photo, one I'll link a YouTube video of mine, and then the rest maybe I'll just do text. And then maybe I'll even repost one thing too, because I'm still a small creator, right? So I know reposting is good. So, but that's a really good point because when I have that urge to make a new post, I could just go comment on someone's post and comment something that, like you said, is post worthy. And then you can also can't you retweet your own, what's it called now? Re-X?
Repost, I
Repost, I
think.
guess.
Yeah. Yep.
I can repost my comment to someone else's post, which wouldn't it show their post and my comment in the
Yes.
post?
Yeah. So if you do that, I think it might even be called a quote repost or something like that. But yeah, you could just repost
Yeah,
regularly, or you can do it with a quote, and you'll have your quote up top, and then it'll have that post underneath it or the comment underneath it, and that adds some value too because it's kind of a unique post for you, but it also grabbed the attention of somebody else and showed
right.
your value to them as well.
Right, right. Yeah. No, this is good, man. And so I'm curious your thoughts then on, what is the strategy that would be optimal for, well, okay, let's take me for example, right? Because everybody watching this, they can look at my profile. I don't want to give you a random scenario that's fictitious because let's just take me and then people can actually, watch this and then go look at me versus you and the difference. So right now, like I have actually here, let me I didn't plan this. I'm sorry, folks. So here, let me pull up my X here just to give you a um
Well, while you're doing that, on that note, sometimes the best posts I get the most impact from are the ones that I don't
mhm,
plan. They kind of hit me as I'm working, working on a project for a client, and something just hits me. I'll flip over to X real quick, post it, go back to the work, come back an hour later, and there's 50 comments, and it took off. So sometimes
right, right.
sometimes those unpolished posts are the better posts.
So okay, so right now, so this is me. You can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So here's what I've done. So right now, I had a pin post before that had like my call to action and whatever. I was redoing some stuff. So in the meantime, while I'm redoing my call to action, I keep pinning just a tweet that I like. I keep saying tweets. Yeah, you get
And
it. So
same here.
let's maybe break down a couple things here, and then after we do this for mine, maybe you could pull up your screen if you want and
Yeah.
walk through some of the do's and the don'ts.
Yeah.
So as we're on mine right now, um, let's walk through kind of a critique. Is that cool if we do that? You
Yeah,
can
for
kind of just
sure.
give me your thoughts on. So let's even start really basic because again, some people like that are watching this, they just don't understand branding. They don't understand social media. So for me,
I'm
I
gonna
always like to have, and of course you got to do the proper formatting, right? So I look at my phone and I pull it up and I'm like, okay, let's make sure the banner looks the same on both. So I'm always
Yep.
looking at like,
Mhm.
okay, here's the banner. It's a little bit janky because of the island,
Yep.
but it's good enough, and then it looks perfect on the desktop.
It doesn't
So
doesn't
I,
overlap any of the elements or anything like that. Nothing disappears. The message is still there.
Right. And so I like to keep consistent coloring and kind of branding kind of from the profile photo into here. I got the same yellows and reds. I have my school, my podcast, a few different icons. And then, my little bio here is Army to Entrepreneur and everything in between, the Connector podcast, building a community of winners in a chaotic world. And my singular CTA, to make it super simple, is just to join my school. So that's what I have so far. Give me your initial thoughts on just cohesion, things that you would tweak, or is this not even, should I not even overthink this?
No, you're doing great. I mean, you look at the, let's talk about the connection between social media channels. And so you look at your YouTube channel, you look at your LinkedIn channel, you look at your X channel, you can tell who you are. This is coming from
Mm,
you. You feel that same brand, and that's really important. A lot of people, you can look at 3 different channels, 2 different channels, 10 different channels. They all look different. The tone's different. The images are different. Yeah, see,
right,
it's instantly. You didn't flip and you're not thinking, am I on the right channel? Right away you're there.
right.
Secondly, with your bio, I guess you would
Same thing
say,
here.
yeah, and
Hmm.
the image, keeping the image. I have a little bit slightly different images. I have my jacket on in my LinkedIn. I have more laid back on X, but you still know it's me.
Sure.
One benefit I have is the hair color. It stands out. It's a little more rare, so I can get away with flipping a different shirt or something, a little bit different angle. But I have
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit more laid back vibe on X, image wise, but as far as the backdrop, it's the same essentially. So you can see the difference. I think I promote my book and the backdrop on X, but and I don't do that on LinkedIn, but it has the same
Sure.
style. So on here then, um, yeah, I'm gonna
Let's see.
click there.
Pull you up.
So yeah, so there's my book. So that's on X, I promote that. On LinkedIn, it promotes more
Hmm.
of the consulting services. So not that I haven't landed a consulting client from
Sure.
X, but you can still see the image is different, but the backdrop is it grabs them and lets you know that you're in the right place.
Yeah.
I like the limited CTA. That's your main thing right now. Put it out there. Make it your main thing. I have multiple in there just because for X specifically, I have a lot of different things going on. So I have my book, I have my newsletter, I have some other things there, my website, things like that. I also have a community, so I run 2 communities. I have the Elevate Inspire community. I have a blogging for business community. That one has almost 1,000. I think it's 8 something members, but
Nice.
but I feature the Elevate Inspire because it's the newer one, and it's more in line with what I'm doing right now. So
Yeah. Is it this one here?
so if you go down, down, that's my website. But if you go down to the
Hmm.
where it says communities and it has that little guy at the computer, that's the
Oh,
community right
oh,
there. So if you click on
I
that,
didn't even realize this is a whole different. So this is a community within X.
yeah, so that is
Oh, nice.
a so I found that the communities are really good because I can kind of control the narrative. People share their content, I share content. It's a place for this one is specifically like entrepreneurs, creators come and share their insights. You love to have you. You click that ask to join button. I won't let you in won't let you in right now, but once we get off the call, I'll go and let you in. Got to check out your credentials first, make sure you're legit.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's fine.
But no, but then also, on that note, I find a lot of value in the community, but it does take time. So if you're going to go that route, it helps because you get you're a lot of like-minded people, so they're going to engage with your content. But you do
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to monitor the content because I don't let people post links in there because people will come in and just post whatever. It's not relevant. That's going to turn people away. So you really have to be there and monitor them. The only time they can post links
Sure.
is if I post something saying, "Hey, share your latest article, share the software you're building, whatever the case is." Um, so yeah, so that's something I
Right.
think something for you to consider. You might benefit from launching a community. I think with everything you have going on, you'd probably get you'd have one subscriber here already. So
Yes.
Started
Because yeah, that's
started one.
also what I'm trying to, in this branding conversation is like, am I competing with myself to have an X community and having my my Skool community,
Yep.
right? Like, or is it complementary if I bring people from the X and I'm like, hey, if you want actually more of my time and you
Yep.
want more content, like come to Skool versus staying on X. So that's also what I'm trying to figure out myself, right? Is what is the optimal way to do this without spending all my time
Yep.
doing, like I said, overlapping things, and so
And
that's I honestly forgot about X communities altogether.
the good part about the community is, you can create it, you can run it. A lot of other people will post in it once it gets going, so you don't have to constantly
Mm.
be the one posting. But then also, if you could use that as an introduction to your Skool community, so you have the X community, people are following, jumping in there. You can pin directly instead of pinning to your profile, pin a CTA in the community. So anyone who joins, that's what they see first, and you can drive people there. So use it
Oh,
not as like the main thing, but as the thing to drive to the main thing.
right. And so tell me this then, because I know, 'cause I'll be honest, I'm a little ignorant here. So if I post and instead of everyone, I think I'm part of a couple. So yeah, the build in public. So if I do this, right, let's say yours is here and I choose yours. What's the difference here? What does this do for me as the user if I'm posting something in a community and it says also share with followers? So I assume this goes on my main timeline as well?
Yeah, so I typically do also share with followers because it expands the reach. But I think the
Hmm.
main thing that a community does is it gets you in front of, as long as you join like-minded community, a community that's relevant to you. If you're just joining communities just to get in front of people, I know there's when the creator program came around, there were a lot of communities that launched that were like creator program follow for follow community, and they, you went in and they're like follow me, and then you're like
I
I
did
followed
that.
you,
Yeah.
yeah. So that type of stuff is actually probably going to get you banned at this point. It was okay back then, but
Okay.
they got you. I still see a lot of people posting, complaining about getting kicked out of the program, and instantly that it was their fault, but they're no, they're throwing up their arms. What did I do? It's probably something like that. Um, but to the main point, if you really want to connect, it's like having the lists where you create a list and you can go in there and communicate with people. But in the community, people are really engaged. They're having conversations. They're sharing ideas with each other. It's a bunch of like-minded people sharing ideas with each other and jumping in. Let me see if I can prove you real quickly.
Yeah. I'll go like a couple posts.
um,
And so question then, I guess. So let's say we're on my profile here, right? So this post right here, I shared one of my new YouTube videos. And by the way, I'm curious your thoughts on liking your own posts. I always do it
yep.
because I'm like, hey, if I don't support me, nobody
Hey,
does, right?
self-belief. It all starts with you.
There you go. So this post, which goes right to a YouTube video I just dropped, you wouldn't want me to post that in your group, but let's say this one, perseverance is hard, not because let's say I wanted to repost this right now as an independent post.
Mhm.
And I go here, and then I go here and everyone, and I choose your group, for example.
Yep.
This would be something that you would be like, yeah, post that in my group. But also, if it goes to share with followers, it would show up as an independent post on my page.
Yep.
Correct?
And it also
Okay.
shows that it is above the post. It shows that it's a community post or a group post, whatever they're called. And so
Oh.
it would show something like Elevate Inspire above it. So therefore, when you do that, you post in my community or whatever community, and you also share with your followers, that can help your followers discover the community. So when I post and I click on also share with followers, I get a lot more
Hmm.
engagement. And then I just signed in and I had you and another person had just had requested to join today or between today and yesterday because I didn't check yesterday. Um, but essentially, it helps introduce your community to people who are out there. I'm going to be launching like a little.
Yeah.
I'm launching a co-hosted space coming up. So spaces are something I haven't really tested out a lot. So I'll report back in the future on that one. But I know a lot of people see a lot of value in those as well. Good opportunity to get your personality and your voice out there.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, I know. I haven't explored that either. That's why part of this is like, I'm asking you questions I genuinely have because I am a newer user to the platform. So I'm like, well, these are questions I have. So the community and anybody else listening, I'm sure would have these as well. Again, I've been on Twitter and X for years on and off. And you know what I'm pissed about, by the way? And because I saw this here in my search, this kid right here. I think it's my cousin somewhere, and he owns at Palassis. I've tried to report this profile. I need this gone. Okay, no posts, no activity, no replies, no nothing, and I want this username because that's usually my username on Instagram here.
Fun fact, guys, X came out with a feature where you got to pay them more every month, but you can actually claim dead or inactive handles. Oh my goodness. So wouldn't you know it, I actually have at Palassis on Twitter now at the time I'm editing this. Anyways, back to the podcast.
I'm, at Palassis, and so I'm like,
I'll one up you. I don't like to do the one upping thing, but I'll one up you there. When the creator program started, I must have upset somebody with a comment. So they created a profile of me, but they used AI to put this like crazy beard, and they would like post. They were posted for like weeks. They would post these horrible posts, like me saying horrible things. I had people messaging me saying, "Hey, someone stole your identity, I think." So I reported it and they got rid of it, but it was weird.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I don't remember what I said, but watch what you say.
People don't hate on people doing nothing of importance, right?
That's
so
true.
Clearly you're doing something right if you got haters.
Yep.
Or maybe secret fans.
That's true. Or maybe it wasn't one of the bear guys didn't like my bear comment or something. I don't know. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. When you do get people hating on your ideas, aside from the trolls, sometimes that does show that your voice is being heard, and you're not gonna. That's one thing you have to get past when you're posting on X. Is you're going to have opinions that people don't like, and that's because you stand by it, and you have that conviction behind it, and you have to have thick skin. People are going to disagree with you. Don't start fights. Don't get in fights. That makes you look bad. It doesn't make them look bad because they don't care. But if you're trying to build a good personal brand, don't start fights.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And so, okay, let me ask you one more question then, just on my profile, and then I'll pull this away. So just again, for someone who's I got 1,000 followers here. I'll show you my analytics. So right now, what was I just going to show you? Oh, here. So I got about almost half of them are verified. This is just kind of what my numbers look like in general for the last 2 weeks, because I think I've been taking this more seriously now so since February 23rd.
Yeah.
So okay, almost a month now. I've been trying to be more I've had some people kind of come into my account and do some of these replies. I'm in there more as well. I'm testing a few different ways to do this organically, authentically, real, whether it's me or it's a VA or someone, just to do some of those responses. But anyways, all that being said, this is what I've been posting the last few days, and I'm curious your thoughts on this for where I'm at right now, because I know it's a little bit different, right? If you got 6 million followers, you can kind of post differently. You can, like, let's say you're on you're a YouTuber or a Instagram poster. You don't need like any hashtags and even a good thumbnail. If you have 10 million followers, you could just post anything and people will watch it. Yeah. But when you're getting started, you gotta work on the SEO for the actual description. You got to work on the thumbnail. So with where I'm at, I just posted, I had this scheduled, just an update on a new video. I just wanted to drop it here. This is just a text post. I'm a night owl. I'm saying it loud and proud. You 5 a.m. crowd can't shame me anymore. So it's a little bit business focused, but it's also kind of my personality. And it's true. It's a real thing. It's not AI. This is just a video of me singing in the car because I thought, let me just post everything. Whatever. I thought I'd just post it. I'm genuinely excited to have so many comments that my X account is a little community of its own. Just a from the heart kind of comment. And then this is a little bit of a personal one, I guess. On days I feel most overwhelmed, 2 things that always help me are sleep and food.
Yep. Hey, can't tell me that one. I agree.
Right. And then so another text, a photo of my breakfast for my birthday post, another link. I didn't repost this, but I just uploaded this, I think, from Pinterest just on my own. You'll either feel the pain of action or the pain of regret, taking care of your physical health, blah, 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 blah. So business, kind of health, overall lifestyle. Is anybody watching season 2 of One Piece? Kind of just, again, another personal thing. So you get the point, right? I'm posting some random things. I'm posting some videos, reposts, whatever. curious your thoughts just on this strategy, and should I be more intentional, or should I not post videos of me singing, whatever?
No, first of all, I highly recommend posting videos of yourself being yourself. People want to connect with your personality. Um, whether it's just a selfie, it's a video, whatever the case is, I think that's good. A lot of the insights and advice, they don't have to be like to increase traffic to your website, do XYZ. They can be simple insights about, let me I'll pull up mine my account in a
Yeah, yeah.
second. But honestly, your feed's looking good. I would say that, keep with that strategy, keep mixing up the content, short form, long form, video, things like that. That's where you're really going
Mm.
to grab people's attention, and you can tell your personality is in it versus I write all my own content, but I spent 2 weeks, I think, and I was like, I'm gonna test AI and see if this, how this works. So I'm pretty good with AI as far as prompting things and all that. But even then, it just wasn't my voice, and then the stats, you can see like the dip in stats that came up. I did it solely as a test, and it proved the point. But
Mm.
the only thing I would say, and take this or leave it. The only thing that X does is they don't like to promote links that drive people off of the site. So if you're promoting a video, what I would recommend is post a text only complimentary post about it. I keep wanting to say tweet,
Hmm.
but post about it. And once you start to see traction, then drop in the link as a reply and kind of let that speak for itself. And that's where you kind of, it's a little bit of a loophole that you can
Oh,
get by. Um, if you want to, you can, as you start to get a lot of traction, all your posts are getting traction, you can get away with dropping in links now and then, and then they'll show
yeah.
them still, because they know that you're keeping people, their algorithm sees, oh, he's keeping people on the site most of the time. We'll let him slide once in a while, but they will kind of demote that post with the link. So I've found that any posts that I drop with links tend to not perform quite as well. And let me go ahead and I'll share mine really quickly and just kind of show you an example
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that if I can figure this out again. There we go.
Does X are they in your SEO? Like if I say in the original post, hey, drop this new video on YouTube, comment below and I'll send you the link. Like, so I'm saying with the words that I'll take you off platform, but I'm not posting the link. Do you think that affects it equally, or would that be a better strategy than actually posting the link in the original post?
So are you saying, so kind of saying, announcing that you did this thing and saying that check out my channel or whatever, and then hoping
Yeah,
people,
like
yeah,
if I said in
everything,
the
yeah,
post, like, comment below and I'll send you the
yeah,
YouTube video. So I'm
yep,
saying that I'm going to take them off
yep,
platform, but I'm not putting a link to
yeah.
off platform in the original post.
So I think that works better on LinkedIn. I see a lot of that working on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
but
I do that there.
on X, I think people shy away from that now. People do this and you get this type of thing. I think people see that now as engagement farming. So I think I would stay away from
Yeah.
that, honestly. And I get
I do it on Instagram too. I have like many chats.
nice,
So
nice.
if I post a podcast clip, I'll say comment Mike and I'll send you the full episode, and then it'll send the YouTube episode in their DMs. And
Nice.
so
Yeah, I think it works on a lot of channels. I just think the creator program has really flipped what X accepts and doesn't. And
yeah, no, it's good to
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
So
Yeah.
I would definitely avoid that. I mean, again, I don't know if I say again, but I might not have mentioned this, but I talk about it all the time. So I feel like I probably have at some point. Um, the strategy is individual. So, when you're building your personal brand, there's, you want to do your own thing. You want to test things out. So I'm not saying don't do it, test it out, see how it works. It's not going to, X isn't going to shut down your account. If it works for you, awesome. You found a new way to drive awareness around your YouTube channel or drive people to your offer. But for a lot of people, it doesn't. So if you do that, it's just a matter of figuring out how to do it in the way that it comes across authentic and that you're not selling things. And X is trending toward the level of skepticism that you see on like a Reddit. Reddit is filled with some of the most skeptical people in the world, and they'll just like shut you down. I mean, there's yeah, very opinionated people on that channel, and it's getting to that point where people will call you out very quickly on X, and the algorithms even becoming a Reddit user. It feels like they'll call you out, and
Right. Well, there's the community notes now on X too,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
it'll
yeah,
it'll straight up just say this
oh
is a
yeah.
lie. This is not real.
And those when those were like all over the place when the creator program first came out, people posted all kinds of stuff that wasn't real just to get a rise and get attention. And you saw those community notes everywhere. And X wasn't really doing anything about it. I think they wanted to kind of get I think they wanted to fix it, but at the same time, it was really bringing a name for the creator program and people were
Yeah.
realizing it was a thing. So, now though, you really just have to be your authentic self and you have to add value in a real way to people. And you can't get away with some
Right.
of the things that you could at the beginning. It's just like with Google, back in the day, you could, if I wanted to rank for like, um, best burger in Philadelphia, I could write an article and put best burger in Philadelphia in it 200 times and it would show up first page. But then once the, Panda and Penguin happened back in the day, that website just disappeared off the face of the earth. So it's like, it's you have to change with the times and be willing to adjust.
Yeah. And by the way, one quick thing here before you dive into this, I just want to address this since you brought up Reddit. It actually made me think. Yeah, people are skeptical. People always make stupid comments. And for anyone watching this, if you're like, well, Josh, you have like no followers, and Anthony only 14K. I thought you would have like 75 million. But guys, the point of this conversation is to say like, hey, look at us. We're not celebrities, but like, look at how like Anthony, how from the time you really took this like seriously, how long do you think the window was where you got monetized? Like how much, like realistically, if you were to tell someone right now between today and X amount of months or years to be able to be monetized, if you put in the consistent effort, what would be a realistic time frame you think?
Yeah, so I mean, I got approved quickly for the creator program, but then once I got approved, it wasn't like the money started rolling in, and I mean, it's not like the money I'm making for Bex, yeah, I can quit my job and I'm bringing in $500,000 a year or something like that. That's not the case. I'm bringing in more now that it actually can make a significant impact. I can use it for something that's, that actually is significant, bigger than just buying McDonald's for my family or something like that. But um, it took, let's say 2 weeks to get approved. And then it was like, 6 months where I wasn't even hitting that threshold of being able to get paid. So, it was at that point that you have to really tell yourself, look, I need to get my voice. I need to get my audience. I need to really grab attention from the right people. And I got to stay the course. If I put in a lot of effort, you can either choose at that point to walk away or and I'd say 90% of people do that. And a lot of, not just on X, but a lot of things in life, they give it a shot one or two times. It's not working. They're like, nah, I don't have time for this. But you stick the course for 6 months. That's, I think, when I started to actually see the payments coming in. And it was like,
Yeah.
you got paid $38. So the first month I'm making, $100 a month, something like that. It's not big, but then over the next 6 months that continued to rise. I would say, it was a good 12 months to maybe almost 15 months until it really kicked into a point where um, I could say, I'm not quitting my job, but this is worth continuing to do. And it also, you have to also think about the other things that it does. So it's, if your goal is to get noticed and get your personal brand noticed, it's a great way to get noticed. And to your point about the follower count, 14, whatever I have, or 13, whatever that number is, it's not huge. There are people with 1 million followers. However, the good thing about X is it's one of those channels where you don't have to have a lot of followers to get engagement. You see accounts with
Hmm.
if you have 20 followers, you're not going to get a lot of engagement. But you see accounts with 1,000 followers that have more engagement than me. There's a lot of people out there that have way less followers than me that have more engagement than me, because their followers are targeted. Um, they built their audience very meticulously. A lot of my followers
Sure.
happen. I've been here since 2012. A lot of my followers happen early on. I do continue to get a lot now, but it's my more recent, probably 5,000 followers that are the more engaged ones that really drive things forward. So people who just
Sure.
started, a year and a half ago, a year ago, if they come in with a strategy and they're really engaged, X is one of the very few channels that you can really jump in and build a name for yourself. And think outside the creator program. Um, Give yourself a good year of consistent strategy and posting, and before you give up on it. And then once you get in there, track your stats, not just, I like to track them, look at the 4 week picture because it'll show that, okay, I improved from this 2 week pay period to this 2 week pay period. So if that's what you're looking
Hmm.
at, but then zoom out and look at the big picture too, because that might not look a lot. But if you look from here to here and you started here and now you're up here, you can see that if you continue, where are you going to be in 2 years? This is 1 year, this is 2 years. Just keep going, and you can
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the direction I wanted to go with that line of thought is, guys, this is proof of concept and it's also brand building. If you can, again, whether you're making, like you said, $500,000 a year from X alone or $500 a year, the fact that you can shows that there's something there. It's just like any sales, any business, you want to find out that there's proof of concept before you really go all in. And again, and part of the reason I'm here, big part of the reason I'm here and why even we connected is I'm doing intentional brand building. So when I say to somebody, hey, you want to jump on a Zoom call, hey, you want to connect and just see what's what, maybe I want them to be a client, maybe I want whatever I want from that relationship, even maybe just a friend.
Yeah.
Well, the more visible, the more credible, the more undeniable I am as a person. If you go to my LinkedIn right now, for example, you're going to be like, yeah, okay. Like this guy seems actually pretty cool. He's got a bajillion testimonials. He posts. He's like, you can really get a sense of who I am just from my LinkedIn. But then if I also have that on Twitter, if I also have that on Instagram, on YouTube, you just become someone where now if I want to have a meeting with anybody, they Google me and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, sure. I think it's worth a meeting with this guy.
Exactly.
So, anyways, I'll shut up now. But that's you covered exactly what I was kind of hoping you would say there. So take us away here with the profile, whatever you wanted to show here.
Well, no, first of all, you nailed it with that. I mean, it adds that credibility, and whether you're looking to land a higher paying job, or you're looking to land your next client, or you're looking to, I sell my books, for example. That's another way I
Hmm.
monetize my property. Whatever you're looking to do, building your personal brand, building your audience, being consistent across different channels and even on one channel, that's takes you so far. I mean, you need that presence, and when you're getting in front of somebody who you want to sell on something, if they've seen your presence, they're likely already sold. They're you didn't have to do anything. You just do your thing and use your personality. They've seen your content for 6 months. They're already in. So
Yeah. I
um,
don't know about you, but I really don't. For someone who's in sales, I really don't like sales.
yeah.
And so I do my best to just do all the selling on the front end with my personality, with
Yep.
the trust building, with all that. And then, yeah, like you said, then if somebody needs what I have to offer, the sale's already really been made.
Yep.
Then it's just a number of discussing logistics. So,
Exactly. Exactly. I don't want to hold up the conversation too long with this one, but I'll just show you a couple quick things on mine. Can you see my profile here?
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So one thing that I like to use is, the same thing that you do. This one I just repinned, or not repinned. I pinned. I like to pin a post once it starts to do well. This one just went live, so not a lot of stuff going on here. But I'll look down and I'll see, okay, this one has a decent amount of engagement. I want to take that to the next level. Pinned to my profile. Typically, it will almost at least double it. I had one, I'm trying to find it here, that, popped up, did really well. Oh, this one. Yeah, it's short and sweet, 85, 56, 1.5 impressions. It jumped up overnight, just
Hmm.
very short. The money isn't coming if nobody knows who you are. Building your personal brand and show people why they should care. That's exactly what we're just talking about. Simple comment.
Yeah.
I like to do that as far as like nice, simple quote. People grab that attention. Not everybody wants to read a book, but you also can do a longer post where it show more and it drops down. There's more to it. And some of my
Yeah.
posts, try to find one here.
And I can see that you're reposting your own posts as well, right? So just
Yep.
to give it that extra bump.
Yeah, so I always, once I give it a little bit of time, I let it ride for probably 12 hours or so, and then I repost it. It gives an extra bump. So I go from
Mm,
300 to 600, and these stats tend to double. And then
sure.
I mix it up with a mix of first of all, let me just show this one. So this is the post about the community that I mentioned, but I didn't post a link in here. So there's no actual link. This is long form. There's no actual link to it, but as it started to get traction, I just dropped the link in the post. So something, back to that original, you can actually then click on here and sign up for it. So going back to
Mm,
there, I think that that's a very valuable opportunity there. Drop the links in your post. Mix it up with, of course, I don't have any selfies right now. I'll always drop in a selfie. You can probably look at. I like to use you know, simple reply. I typically add, significant amount of content in my replies. It'll be like at least a full line, never an I agree. Once in a while, though, you get down to a comment and you're going through the motions, and you're in a conversation with somebody, and it's going back and forth and back and forth, and it seems like maybe it's not going to stop. So just end it with a a nice little gif, and you don't leave them hanging, but you also, at some point, the conversation is just saying the same thing in different ways over and over, and it takes a
right,
lot of
right.
time. What I like to do to make sure that I'm not missing out on opportunities, I will go in the morning. I'll do as I'm drinking my coffee, whatever the case is. I'll scroll through here. Um, I have a lot. This is going to be part of my nightly routine, but I have a lot that I need to reply to. I'll look at my all notifications. I'll see where what I need to reply to. I'll go through and I'll leave a thoughtful response for everybody. I'll spend about maybe 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes in the evening, maybe once in a while during the day, and I'll an hour and a half to 2 hours on X per day. If you really want to stay monetized, you have to make the investment. So,
Mhm.
that's definitely something that I recommend. Make the point of replying to everybody that replies to you. And, there's sometimes where it can get out of hand. I had a post blow up and had 1,000 comments. It took me 3 days to reply to everybody, but I made a point of doing it. It burned me out, but I made a point of doing it. So
Sure,
and
yeah.
it also helps you. The algorithm kind of notices that people are engaging with you. You're engaging with them, so it helps you show up. And then what I do
Right.
also is I will go, I don't want to be selfish and only reply to people on my post. So I'll go to home, and I always focus on the For You feed. I've gotten to a point where
Mm,
I posted so much that the people posting are now in line with my thoughts, and not just in line with my thoughts, because then, they don't have to agree with me, but the subject matter at least is similar and we can have good
yeah, yeah,
conversations versus if I click on my following, I have a lot of people from back in the day, and you'll find some weird, that these top ones are pretty good. But if you scroll for a while, you'll find a lot of, it'll get into politics and all kinds of stuff where I don't want to get involved in that. So I recommend,
sure, sure.
go to the For You page, pick maybe 10 to 20 posts that are in line with yours, click on it, reply to the original post, and then also to gain a little bit more action, go down through the people who replied to that post and reply to them as well. That kind of gets you
Yeah.
involved in that conversation. And this person here, this is actually one of his lower engagement posts. Typically, he'll have 3, 4, 5,000 impressions and hundreds of comments and things like that. So if you get in early and you're monitoring this feed and you get in early on a conversation that blows up and you're up at the top because you're one of the most relevant liked comments, that comment can do a lot for you. So start here in your notifications, reply to everybody, and make sure nobody is left out unless it's like someone trying to start a fight or something like that. Ignore those. But once you're done with that, go to home, find a bunch of people who you can engage with. The conversation's rolling. The main point of it is, look at all your notifications. Make sure you reply to all the relevant people.
Mhm.
If they end the conversation, they're just repeating what you said over and over again. throw out a GIF just to kind of close the conversation. It says, "Hey, I care about you, but I also have other things to do."
I have a life.
And yeah, I can't go back and forth for 3 hours. And then once you're done and you make sure everybody's replied to, go to the For You feed. And if you've been busy and engaging with like-minded people, and again, I don't mean like-minded as in everybody has to agree, but subject matter wise, make sure they're in your
Mhm.
topics that you actually want to explore and the people you want to attract, then you're going to see a really smooth For You experience. Go in there,
Yep.
reply to 10 to 20 or so of them, then go into a few of the more popular conversations and talk to the people that have replied to that post. That'll get you some real traction, and that's how your own posts start showing up.
Yeah. I love it, man. That's exactly what I'm doing now. So it's music to my ears that I'm, have the right strategy. And ultimately too, I know the exact same strategy pretty much to the T works on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily yield the same results anymore on Instagram or YouTube. No, like you're not, if you go respond to people's comment, that's kind of a waste of time, I think. Just post content on YouTube.
Yeah.
Same with Instagram. It really has gotten to the point, in my opinion, from the people that I know that are in the space, like you really is more about posting content than engaging with a ton of content. Whereas LinkedIn and X right now are so I've seen it over the last couple, just week and a half now on LinkedIn. The amount of impressions my posts have been surging with, and it's still not crazy. I'm still building momentum, but because every day for like a couple hours now, I have somebody in my account helping with comments and likes and
Mhm.
engaging, because I'm testing some stuff myself, right? So I'm like, okay, I know these kind of things work. I actually have a service that I represent that essentially we do that for people. We get in their accounts, we build their thought leadership, we post for them. It's kind of like an all done for you LinkedIn growth service. But the main aspect of that is like our team will go into your account for like 4 or 5 hours a day and engage and like and comment within the LinkedIn guidelines and limits, of
Yeah.
course. But you really can't beat just the manual labor right now in these platforms. There's no AI tool that does it effectively and safely. And so
Yeah.
really, I think it's just maybe Claude Code is almost there. I don't know. I haven't really investigated, but for the most part though, X and LinkedIn very similarly want real human engagement, human to human, and posting as well.
Yeah.
If you don't do one of those steps, then you're not feeding the algorithm what it wants.
Yeah, and I always recommend that post, LinkedIn maybe 3 to 5 times a week. Post
Yeah.
X, I post 3 to 5 times a day. But the real value is in engaging and the replies and being active. And you have to put in that work because that's how you get noticed. And it's you nailed it. It's the same on LinkedIn. Whenever I put in the work and I'm busy replying and I'm active, my next post will do really well. If I'm out and
Yeah.
about with the kids or we have soccer on the weekend or something like that, and then I come back and I post, it's crickets. So it's like, you have to be willing to put in the work. This getting into the creator business, as you sold yourself short on their followers on LinkedIn and or on Twitter or X, but you have tons of subscribers on your YouTube, and you have a lot of engagement going on. So what it takes to get there, and you're doing it the right way. It takes a lot of work. So for anyone who wants to get into the creator game and monetize that and go that route, you can't go into it like half-heartedly. It's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm really hoping you and I have this conversation again, like part 2 in, I don't know, 6 months or even a year. And like we're both monetized on every platform we want to be. We get double, triple, quadruple the followers. That'd be a fun follow-up conversation.
Just be a bunch of case studies about how we got there. So let's
Yeah,
build
and then you and I we have a growth service agency
There
together
you go.
where we are the case studies. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yep. All we have to do is show the video and people sign up.
There you go. But otherwise, my friend, I know we're actually approaching an hour. This is time flew here. So unless you have some other thoughts that you think would be really valuable right now, I think that kind of covered everything I really wanted to get into for the most part. I think it was super hands-on, practical, very entry level still, right? Where it's not,
Yep.
we're not talking about quadratic equations and
Yeah.
whatever.
That's for the
So any other
conversation. I got to read up on that first before we jump into that one.
exactly, and how to really how to use how to code into the X algorithm and no, but any final thoughts? Any last minute things you want to throw in there, or that's for the most part? You think we covered everything we need to?
I mean, I just, end it with, if you really want to do it and you love creating things and you love, you want to monetize that and turn it into a thing, go into it and enjoy it. Don't turn, no, you have to have a business plan. You have to have a strategy for it, but just have fun.
Mhm.
That's the key. Let your personality shine.
Yeah, I love it. So, okay, I got one more question for you that everybody will need to hear. But before I ask you that, where can people find you? What's the best way to get in touch with you, follow you? I know we talked about your links and we showed your X, but where would you want people to be guided
Yeah.
after this chat?
Yeah, so beyond X, obviously, LinkedIn, I'm very active there. Website is eicreative.online. That's where, I offer all my consulting services. So, web design, content marketing, all that kind of good stuff, digital marketing agency. Go buy my books. There's 2 out there. Go to Amazon. They're both on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. You can email me, arg@eicreative.online. And where else? Newsletters on the website. Go to the website and subscribe. I run a newsletter through Beehive. So that's another Beehive's a great platform. There's other ones, but you can monetize that as well. So if you want to, you put an ecosystem together, don't just rely on X, make it a sort of an ecosystem.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Cool. I'll drop all the links below in whether this is on Skool or on YouTube. Of course, I'll have your links. Now, the big question for you, Anthony, is how did you figure out the ingredients in the slime? Did you test it and eat it before you knew and just cross your fingers, or did somebody tell you first?
No, I like to test things online and things like that, but when it comes to something I'm going to ingest, I'm not willing to test as much. So there was a guy who I don't know what his job wasn't just to make slime. He was part of the stage crew or whatever, but he made the slime, and I went in. I was delivering things around the studio that day, and he was making the slime, and he said, "Hey, you want to help me make the slime?" So I went in and he showed me how it was made and everything like that. So I didn't even have to ask. So it's I
Okay, fair
I got to
enough.
pour the applesauce, pour the mix, and there was one other thing, but it was edible. I don't remember what it was, some kind of powdered stuff that brings them together, but it was edible. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was fun. And then I didn't know I was gonna get it dumped on me at any point at that point, but it
Well,
is.
they must add food coloring, right, to get that green
That's probably what the powdered stuff did,
color.
I think. But I
Okay,
think
sure.
this was I don't want to date myself, but this was a few years back, and um, so the memory doesn't serve me quite as well. But yeah, I'm assuming whatever the powdered thing was that they put in probably made some reaction to make it slime.
Yeah.
And
At the start of the last century,
this
Anthony
is
tasted some
1853
slime.
now.
Well, cool, man. Thank you for your time. I'm glad we got to meet on X. You gave me hope again that this platform is worth my time. So thank you for coming and talking. Everyone hearing this on Skool, you're getting this first. Everyone hearing this on YouTube, it was on Skool first. So if you want exclusive content, if you want access to people like Anthony, like myself, well, specifically me, and then, hey, Anthony might have to have you on even for a Skool live sometime and maybe answer some community questions. This is the kind of stuff we do in the community on the platform. So excited to see you there. And I think that's it. I don't know how to start these. I don't know how to end these. So I'm just going to run away.
Just shut off the camera.
All right. See you guys.